Come on in and sit down. You cut the hardcore crew chewing the fat. You cut us shooting the shit. You cut us in the moment.
I was not happy with them at all.
I just thought it sucked. And that guy who, whatever he fucking is, that film star that's...
Stephen Amell.
That bloke who's having that fight at SummerSlam's just going to be a joke.
We're in the moment now, guys. I'm going to tell you, I was not happy with Raw at all. It completely disgusted me because everyone had some kind of interaction with each other, whether it be a match or a confrontation or a contract signing that has to do with SummerSlam. And you figured, why are they doing this? Because it's not doing the pay-per-view any favors.
Nope.
Because you're seeing the same thing.
People will get bored.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already just like, I know SmackDown, they're doing the same thing on SmackDown because they already have a match set up, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going to watch SmackDown this week. I'm just going to completely pass over it because I want to at least watch the pay-per-view and have somewhat and like it to a point, but already, I think even me and Joe said that some of the picks, which we will be talking about later on tonight, is almost obvious. It boggles my mind. I mean, we always call WWE, it's WWE logic. And even Joe said that WWE is the biggest wrestling company in the game right now today. But, yeah, they can do it, but the question is why? And me and Joe didn't have an answer. We didn't know why.
It seems as though they've just lost the way with what they are. And I've always been a firm believer of building up a storyline. And like Joe said on many a show, keep the two people who are fighting away from each other. That causes more animosity. And then you're excited to see them both get in the ring. But when they both stand and face to face each other, it loses all its credibility when they actually get together, because you've seen them. It's like, if Undertaker is going to fight Sting at WrestleMania, don't have them with a build-up, just have the match announced and the match come on and people will pop, because they've never expected it in the wildest dreams.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And, like I said, tonight is our pay-per-view picks for SummerSlam.
Just interrupting. Did any of you guys, though, notice who got the biggest pop? I think...
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar, anyway. Suplex City, and The Undertaker got bugger all. Now, well, I'm sure the WWE want The Undertaker to be the favourite, the babyface, and Brock Lesnar be the heel, but it's bit WWE in the ass.
Well, why? Because, let's face it, Undertaker arrives once a year, or in this case now twice a year, and you have Brock, yeah, he's semi-active, but at least you still see him, and he is still young and dominant. Put like this, if this was an MMA fight, and they threw Seth Rollins in there with Brock Lesnar in a cage, and they had to fight, well, Brock Lesnar would kill the guy. So I think that's what the fans are backing. Slowly, fans are leaning towards MMA more than pro wrestling.
Yeah, that, and you got to remember one thing: they're in Brock's hometown.
Yeah, that was another big factor, is that it was like Brock's homecoming. And of course, that is going to get any fan, psyched up for that person. I mean, I think last week, they were Daniel Bryan's hometown, and Daniel Bryan got a huge pop. I mean, he gets a lot of pops anyways, but he hasn't been wrestling a lot, so he hasn't got that heat. When they're in Chicago, they chant for CM Punk, even though he wasn't in the company for quite some time. I mean, I don't think they're doing it as much now, but just that hometown, you see, they get that little extra pop.
I must admit, I was shocked to see John Cena's nose looks like... I know they said he'd had emergency operation, and they said operations, not operation. So he's had some serious major, I would say, plastic surgery on his face, because to be honest, he didn't look like he'd had as bad an injury that he had had. I was surprised just how quick and what a good job they'd made, but I still think he shouldn't have come out. So on the night, you'd think, God, is he going to come? Like, I thought he was going to come with a Cody Rhodes mask over his face. It would have been nice for him to just come out and think, oh, he hasn't got it on. He's recovered. Just the excitement of not knowing, but... We know now that he looks fine. He looks like he's had no injury, and he looks ready to go, and he looks more hyped up than he's ever been. Now,
actually, another thing we were talking about before we got going on the show. Now, if you notice something that happened there was a bit of a botch. Seth Rollins never signed the contract. He had it in his hand, but he never officially signed it.
Yeah, he went off with him just standing there, didn't he? Cena started it off, and I think Triple H dropped the bollock. I think most people seem to think now that John Cena's going to win. I think it's going to look like John Cena's going to win, but John Cena said something, and Triple H sort of backed it up. If John Cena wins the championship this time, he will have beat Ric Flair's record.
Well, he wouldn't have beaten, he would have matched it.
So is Ric Flair going to come in?
No, I
to
think...
stop him breaking or tying his record? Is that going to be the thing that I think the WWE have dropped the bollock with? Because it never crossed my mind until they mentioned Ric Flair's record was on the line as well.
Well, what I think, and again, this is going to be one of our prompt bets where he's still going to be talking about SummerSlam, but Triple H, I think, lit a fire under his ass, and, one of our big questions is going to be for later on tonight, is he going to play a role in that match? Is he going to get involved? In which direction is he going to go in?
I can see one of two things, and I hope the second one I'm just daydreaming about or having nightmares about, because I thought Cena could win, take the championship, and then get challenged by Mr. Ric Flair himself when they're both 16-time world champions, and I just don't want to ever see that match.
No. I don't see that happening. I think Ric Flair is officially retired because he wouldn't be able to. It would never work. John Cena has gotten, pretty much beaten all the younger guys, and then he's going to get his ass kicked by Ric Flair. I don't see that happening. Exactly. But I want to get on to the SummerSlam picks, and I want to thank some of the people who, on our Facebook page and our Google Plus page, who put in their thoughts and their picks, and those picks will be announced at the end of our show, so make sure you stay tuned, guys, because we haven't forgotten about you. But I want to start on some of these matches, and the first one I want to talk about is the Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev match. We saw last night that Dolph Ziggler came back, and unfortunately, Lana kind of dropped the ball because she was looking over Rusev's shoulder like 5 or 10 seconds, before Ziggler even came down. So you knew that Ziggler was coming down. And I'm like, oh, really? Now we got a question to ask is who's going to win this? Is it going to be Ziggler or Rusev? And I really have this suspicion, if it's going to be my pick, Dolph Ziggler. Joe, what would be your pick for this match?
Let me see. Oh, jeez. How many times have we seen this already? It doesn't get any better. Of course it's going to be Ziggler. Rusev took him out. He makes the big babyface comeback. It's going to be Ziggler. I mean, it's not even worth, challenging for it. It's just, it's plain to see. It's just basically Ziggler all the way. I expect to see Summer Rae and Lana get involved in it. Somehow. But, yeah, it's Ziggler.
Yeah, you know what, and I have to agree, and there's another thing we talked about, is that this could have been, a mixed tag match, and I think it would have been a little bit more better than just a one-on-one match, because we've seen this before. This is basically a rematch from Battleground. Andy, your thoughts?
I think it's going to go to Rusev, because I think Rusev is going to nick Alana back.
So you see Lana possibly double-crossing?
I still think she's... I know the proper boyfriend and girlfriend, but she's sort of playing the character like the scorned girlfriend. She wants him back, and whatever way she can get him back by making him jealous, she's going to do, because she still sort of looks at him like our woman looks at you and I want you. She still gives him that look, even though Dolph Ziggler's standing there. She's sort of got her arms all over him, but she's looking at Rusev as much as to say, he's pissing you off, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the WWE have tried to get her to go on her own and become a wrestler, and for whatever reason, they've decided to go against it, and I think by bringing them 6 girls from NXT have basically shafted her up the backside, so I think she's going to go back to Rusev. Hence, that's why he will win. He will beat her man, and she'll go to the winner, because she won't want to be seen hanging around a loser.
Lance, your thoughts and your picks.
Well, WWE logic says Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
Well, he has to get his comeuppance.
Exactly. This is going to be his first match back, and that's why I'm a little bit more inclined to believe that Ziggler could very well win this match.
Rick, let me throw in something, and it just popped into my head. What if the match it becomes a double disqualification, or both girls start interfering too much on each guy's behalf, and the referee decides to restart it and makes it into a mixed tag.
You know what? And that's a very good possibility. I would like to see that because, Summer Rae and Lana have been at each other's throats for the past couple of weeks. You just made a very good point. They have been known to restart matches as tag teams and such and whatnot, so that is a strong possibility. We're going to have to keep that an eye out for that one. The next match I'd like to talk about, of course, is Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Now, over the past month, maybe even 6 weeks, we have seen these two go at each other. This could be like their fourth match. This is past the rubber band match because the rubber band's broke. If I really had to pick who could possibly win, I could say maybe Sheamus because they might want to give him a push as he's a Money in the Bank winner. That's my only thought. Lance, your pick.
Well, like I keep saying, if you hold the Money in the Bank, it don't usually work well for you until you actually cash in. So I'm going to go with Orton.
All right. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Randy Orton because Sheamus has basically screwed him now 2 or 3 times, is it, on Raw? And I think it's going to be Orton's payback to win him on the night. I would normally pick Sheamus, but I think how the storyline's going, I think he's going to win. Orton's going to win because of the amount of times he's spoilt his chance.
Okay. And finally, Joe, over to you.
You know what? I'm going to have to agree with the guys here. It's no-brainer. Again, it's going to be Randy Orton. You know what's real funny here? I can tell once again, gentlemen, we are at the crossroads of a pay-per-view, and we seem so excited.
Yeah, pretty much. And again, it all falls back to the way they've been building it up, and they're not doing SummerSlam any favors by putting all these guys in the same ring for Raw and SmackDown. These guys should be kind of kept apart. We've talked about this, and not on just this show, but on several other shows before pay-per-views of how they're just watering it down. But I want to get on to the next match, which is pretty much the celebrity match with Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow, and Neville versus King Barrett and Stardust. And I'm sorry, guys. Just for the simple fact that there's a celebrity in there tells me that Amell and Neville are going to win. Joe, your thoughts?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Neville and the Green Arrow are going to win this. It's no-brainer here. They got to give it to the celebrity. And with the brand of superhero movies coming out, why not WWE capitalize on it? Who knows? We might see Super Cena, the movie, come out.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, no kid. Lance, your thoughts?
Yeah, like the celebrity team's gonna win. It wouldn't make sense anything otherwise. That's what always happens. I mean, hell, they even gave Snooki a win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a no-brainer. Andy, your thoughts?
My heart's telling me one thing and my gut's telling me another. I'm gonna go with Team Stardust, because I think the WWE know that everyone's going to think that the celebrity team will win, and that's the only reason why I'm going to go with Stardust. But my heart's telling me stick with the obvious, but I'm hoping that they won't, because everyone is going to be saying, oh, that television celebrity's going to win.
Yeah, that is a minor possibility, but, unfortunately, WWE, that's where they get very, very predictable. If they decide to, throw the curveball and swerve all of us, then, I'll be pleasantly surprised.
I've got a feeling that the way they're going to pull it off as well, do you know how Triple H made it quite clear that my solicitors are going to draw up a contract and you've got to sign it by 9 a.m. the following morning, waiving the WWE from any injury? I think he's going to pull off some supposed injury that the celebrity can't carry on anymore, and wrestling's not fake, and that's how they're going to try and play it. You thought it was fake, but it goes to prove you're now seriously injured.
And you know what? That is another valid point, because keep in mind that over the past couple of weeks ago, we had Dana White from the UFC saying how wrestling's fake, and a lot of wrestlers have spoken out against him. So that's another possibility that I have not thought about. And now we're going to have this next match, which is the first of 3 title matches that's going to be on the line, which is the WWE Tag Team Championship. It's the Primetime Players, who's the champions, defending against New Day, the Lucha Dragons, and the Los Matadores. And you really have to wonder here, this is one of the harder matches I want to pick, because there's the 4 teams, and New Day's been kind of on a rush, but then they kind of gave the Matadors on a rush, and Lucha Dragons have been kind of just getting the shaft, so to speak, over the past couple of weeks. My picks, it's either going to go either it's a 50-50 shot between primetime players retaining or New Day winning the belts. Lance, your thoughts?
Well, I want it to be Lucha Dragons because I think they deserve it, but I see them keeping it on primetime.
All right. Joe, over to you.
Well, let me ask a quick question here. Which 2 of the 3 members of New Day are wrestling?
We probably won't know until that happens. I'm guessing usually Xavier Woods is usually kind of like he plays the cheerleader, and then they have Big E and Kofi play, so they'll be the tag team. So I'm guessing that we'll probably see.
See, if the WWE did it smart, they would do the Freebird rule, where if one person gets injured, they'll switch right in mid-match. If it was that situation, I would give it to New Day. But I think right now, I think the fans are behind the primetime players. So I see them retaining it right now. And again, you know what?
Okay.
Again, this is another match that how many times have we seen it? It's, again, a situation where almost every Monday or every SmackDown, we're seeing these guys all against each other. And it's not captivating. So again, I got to, with the ho-hum and a kind of a deep sigh, I got to take the primetime players.
And again, I'm right there with you. Andy, your thoughts?
I'm going to go for New Day. I just got a feeling they're going to win. But going by what Joe's just said, how many times can we see this match before we get bored? And I'm bored already.
Same here.
Yeah, and now they're going to have the next match is, of course, the Diva Revolution match. And, I wouldn't say it's getting old yet because so far it's been very, very entertaining, but these 3 teams have been getting involved with each other week after week after week. And if they don't start splitting them up after SummerSlam, people are going to get bored real quick. Now, there's a special rule in line that was WWE.com announced on their page. What's going to happen is it's not going to be a true elimination match where, they would have each member get counted out. What happens is, let's say, hypothetically, if the Bella Army, one member gets pinned, then the whole team is eliminated instantly. So that's something we're going to have to take that into a factor as to who could possibly win this. I wouldn't be surprised if Team PCB wins. Andy, do you?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, WWE are just pushing the shit out of Paige. So it's going to be Paige's team. There's just no 2 ways about it. They can't make it any more obvious.
Lance, over to you.
I'm going to go with the porn sorority. Submission sorority. PCB.
And Joe, finally, over to you.
I'll have to give it to Team Paige. Woo!
Yeah. The only other team I could possibly see maybe winning is maybe Team Bad, but I think PCB is going to walk home with it. The next is the Intercontinental Championship match with Ryback as a triple threat. Ryback versus The Miz versus The Big Show. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat who is not going to win this, and that's The Big Show, and I'll tell you why. Because he kind of dropped the bomb a little bit earlier this week when he was doing an interview, and he even said that after SummerSlam, he's going to start going to part-time. He's going to be working less matches. He's at that point in his career where he just wants to slow down. So I heard that, and I'm like, uh-oh. So now we're down to Ryback and The Miz. Now, Ryback just came back from an injury, and he's still got the pop, so I don't think they're going to give it to Miz, so I'm picking Ryback all the way. Joe, over to you.
You know what? As funny as it sounds, I got to give it to The Miz. Because, yeah,
really?
You know what? He's been more on TV now with his Miz TVs and getting involved in different things. I could see them trying to change it up a bit. Let's face it, Ryback to me, and I'm looking at it as a promoter and business person, he's just not material. He's this Rhino Goldberg wannabe, and I think he has as much charisma as a rock. And I don't mean Dwayne Johnson rock. I mean a rock in your garden. This guy just doesn't get it. Besides his feed me more, or I want gore, or whatever, or I'm such a bore. Miz, I would consider him the next Piper. Because he's the antagonist. He has his own little talk segment. I would say Miz will do Big Show will do the knockout. Ryback goes down. and Miz capitalizes and gets the pin.
Andy,
yeah, I'm
going to
go with Joe. I think Miz is the only one that really floats my boat in those three. Big Show, because he's just not anything like he used to be. Ryback, I just never got the guy's gimmick from day one, even when he was Skip Sheffield. Don't get the guy. He's got the look of a WWE superstar, and like Joe said, the charisma of a light bulb. Broken light bulb.
Lance, over to you.
It's going to be my toilet, because this is going to be a piss break for me, because I can't stand triple threat matches, but...
I'd take a dump as well, because I think the match is going to drag out.
Yeah. As much as I hate it, because the guy just bores the hell out of me, which could be said for all three of these guys, but I'm going to go Miz.
All right. And now we have the family versus family tag team match, which is, of course, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Now, there was a thought that possibly the Wyatt was going to bring in a third person, Eric Rollins, but Eric Rollins, from what I understand, according to reports, is not going to be back for maybe at least a couple more months, maybe even October. So he's still out on injury, and they were considering bringing in Sting, but of course they feel that there was enough power, star power that they didn't need him, so they might push him back to the Night of Champions, which is the next pay-per-view. So if I have to really pick who's going to win this one, I got to give it to Reigns and Ambrose. Lance, over to you.
I see it could go either way. So just to be a little different, I'm going Wyatt family.
All right, Joe, over to you.
I'm going to give it to Team Shield because they need to give. They got to give Roman Reigns something. So I guess this is probably what they're going to do.
I have to agree with you there. Andy,
I'm
over
going
to
to
you.
go with the majority and go for Reigns and Ambrose, because if it's anything like the match that the other guy with Bray Wyatt had on Monday Night Raw, that
Luke
was
Harper.
the biggest shit match I've ever seen. I mean, his clotheslines just looked ridiculous, and he looked like I don't know whether he had a brain fart, but it looked like he just lost it in the ring and just forgot how to wrestle. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but none of his moves looked convincing. He's just like a rookie who was starstruck and scared to death. It was his first ever show. It was just, we all have bad days, and I don't know if he had a bad day on Monday, but he just looked like he didn't care.
Honestly, I thought that was probably one of the better matches. Yeah. I thought there was some good spots in there, but hey, to each their own. Now we're going to get on to another match that I'm almost looking forward to, which is, of course, Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. Now, Cesaro has been on a huge push as of late. The fans have been getting really over on him, and he's been doing some really great spots in the ring. The only other thing is, Kevin Owens has a tendency of losing, so could we see Kevin Owens, as he's about to lose, walk out of the ring, which he's been notorious for? Or could we see Cesaro get the win and him finally get that push to the next big win? This is a coin tosser for me, guys. I see this going either way, and I really don't have a solid winner on this one. Joe, over to you.
You know what? The same thing with me. I can't. This is the one I can't even flip a coin because you know what? This is the one match. It's really stumped to me. So I guess I'm just gonna leave that option open. I would say Owens, but for some reason I just can't put my finger on it, so I'm gonna leave that open. All
right, Andy, over to you.
My personal thought is Cesaro is going to win because Kevin Owens will just pick up his ball and walk out.
And Lance, over to you.
Well, I'm gonna say it. Fight Owens, fight.
And like I said, both these guys have been on a good rush as of late, so for me, I would like to say Cesaro, but I'd also like to say Kevin Owens. So this is going to be one of those matches that I am looking forward to.
And here's another thing. And now they're both former Ring of Honor people. So the magic that they did have in Ring of Honor, they're going to bring that to this match. So you might see a totally different match than a regular WWE match.
That's something that I didn't know that Cesaro was at Ring of Honor. I know that Kevin Owens was, but that's interesting. Now I want to go on to, of course, the match that they say was too big for WrestleMania, but even though they had it at WrestleMania, is Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. And we're going to have a Trump question for this one. If I have to pick it, obviously I say Undertaker's going to win because Brock Lesnar one at WrestleMania. So Undertaker has to come back, and he has to prove that, Brock Lesnar was a fluke, and now he's going to be the dominant one. Although, he should be the dominant one because Undertaker is an old man. It's just not going to be believable, but I just see the way this is going down. Andy, over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the consensus. I think we're all probably end up going to picking The Undertaker, and we're all going to finish it off with, I don't know why. I don't know how it's going to make people feel towards Brock Lesnar, because the thing that makes it bad, if The Undertaker wins, and I think he will, it's going to look bad because Brock Lesnar's fought all the youth of the WWE and handed them their arse, and a bloke who we know can't fight anymore is going to defeat him, and I'm just going to find that hard to believe.
Yeah, and the only way Undertaker's really been taking Brock Lesnar down over the past couple of weeks is by giving him a low blow first. And this is the question why I don't understand why this should have been an unsanctioned match. This should have been like a street fight, and it probably would have been a lot better. Joe, over to you.
Again, this doesn't take a no-brainer here. Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and every dead person that has died before this match could probably see that it's going to go to The Undertaker. I cannot see WWE having the logic of letting The Undertaker lose twice. I just don't see that happening. He pins Brock Lesnar or beats Brock Lesnar, and this will set up for a third match sometime down the road. It'll be a coin toss that Sting gets involved.
Well, you know what? You brought that up again. That was a question that I do want to talk about, is, of course, Sting. Because everybody's been wanting to see Undertaker versus Sting. This has been that fantasy match that people wanted to see for years. And now that Sting is, in fact, in the WWE and makes rare appearances like The Undertaker, we have to wonder, could this be Undertaker's last match with Sting, and could they be setting it up now at this point? So, Andy, I want to get back to you real quick. Do you see Sting making an appearance tonight? I mean, it's like Sunday night?
I'm not sure. I just know, we've all said it, so it's not just me saying this. None of us really want to see The Undertaker and Sting. 5 years ago, maybe yes. Now, it's like watching your granddad take on your great-granddad. It just doesn't float my boat, but unfortunately, it's going to have to happen. So I think somewhere along the line, he's got to get involved somewhere, and at the next WrestleMania, it's possibly going to be Undertaker and Sting, because on the network, I was watching the program the other day, and even Sting basically said the match that the WWE Universe want to see is me against The Undertaker. He's even said it himself. Yeah,
and he said that even before he signed with the WWE, and everybody thought, of course, it was The Undertaker, but that didn't come to fruition, and it had to be Triple H had to take the spotlight on that one. So, could Sting show up? I could see it happening. Lance, over to you.
Yeah, I'm like everybody. Taker, but I do think that this is how they'll slowly start. They're either going to slowly start hinting towards Taker Sting at Mania now, or they're waiting until Rumble.
Fair point. Yeah, and again, if it doesn't happen now because it's very early, if they want to kind of boost it up like they did with Cena Rock a couple of years ago, possibly. But again, if it doesn't happen now, I can probably see it, maybe towards the Rumble when they start the road to WrestleMania. Moving on now is the main event match, of course, is John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a title versus title match. We have not seen a title versus title match in quite some time. A lot of people are really thinking, that the title might not change hands. There might be, some kind of getting involved, and this is where another Trump question is, Triple H, could he play a factor in this title versus title match? And I'm thinking he could very well, but I don't know in which direction he might go. It's really hard to call. Joe, over to you.
Again, this was one of those other matches that, it is hard to call. It is a situation that, one, I don't think the WWE wants to give Cena the belt again. I don't think fans want to see Cena with the world title again. Now, do I see Seth Rollins winning it? Yes. I could see him winning it, and I could see the possibility that they take the U.S. belt off of Cena, and Seth Rollins says, you know what, I don't need this, tosses it to the side, and they put it in a tournament.
And again, I'm more leaning towards Rollins than Cena, because, as you said, that makes all the right sense. Lance, over to you.
I'm calling for an interference disqualification so belts don't change hands.
And again, we've seen that happen plenty of times. It's been title versus title, but nobody won both titles. They had to have the disqualification or no contest. So it's another possibility. Andy, over to you.
For the first time, I really do want to see John Cena to win, but I've just had a brain fart with reference to the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar match. Now, what do you guys think of this? Old scenario, revamp. Halfway through the match, both of the wrestlers, Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, are almost at their wits' end. They've done everything to beat each other, and they both defeat the count. Suddenly the lights go off. Oh dear. Sting's music plays. The lights come back on. He's there with the baseball bat. Lesnar's on his backside. Undertaker's on his backside. We now have a triple threat match for WrestleMania.
That's a very good, again, another possibility, and we've talked about Sting possibly coming in. So, for your main event, Rollins versus Cena, title versus title, do you have
It's got to be Cena for me. I just hope he wins. I just don't want Seth Rollins to win. I really don't. I think they've given him every push conceivable, and he just doesn't seem to be making it on his own.
Well, I think that was like he's playing that kind of a heel where he's supposedly always doing underhand tactics.
I think they're going to do to him what they did to Randy Orton. He'll lose, and Triple H and Stephanie don't want anything to do with the guy at all. All storyline, obviously.
Or this could be another storyline that the guy, he beats John Cena using Triple H's pedigree and moves, and he proclaims himself as the greatest world champion ever. I'm better than Hulk Hogan, I'm better than John Cena, and I'm even better than Triple H. And that'll probably infuriate Triple H, that you'll see them come down the road and fight each other. Now, here's my only difference in this scenario. That instead of Triple H winning, that Rollins beats him, cementing his legacy of being finally a champion who can stand up and fight. Say what you will, and at first I was wanting to see Rollins lose the belt, but then if you kind of sit back and you look at the whole scheme of what they're doing, he's the genuine heel. How many times have we seen Ric Flair in the 80s get disqualified, counted out, use dirty tactics to win? So I wouldn't be surprised that Rollins does something and announces he's the greatest champion of all time and infuriates Triple H.
And again, like I said, that's why I'm wondering which direction the Triple H is going to go, because when they were doing this contract signing, Seth Rollins did not sign. Now, that could have been a botch, or they could use that as a twist. But Triple H, it really lit a fire under his ass, and you could tell that he was kind of more looking at Seth Rollins with that really pissed-off look, like he's getting ready to, attack him, give him the thumbs down, which he did with Randy Orton many years ago. But right now, I want to get down to some of our guys over on our Facebook pages that put their thoughts in. I want to start off and give a shout-out to James Grady Bishop. This is what he said real quick. He said, Cena wins by DQ, so no belts change hands. Undertaker wins with the help of Kane. Cesaro beats Owens. Rowan, Reigns, and Ambrose win over the Wyatt family. The primetime players retain. Stephen Amell and Neville win over Barrett and Stardust. And of course, Randy Orton defeats Sheamus. And finally, Ziggler beats Rusev. James, thank you for being a part of the show, and thank you for giving your thoughts. And everyone who's listening in, anytime you want to be a part of the show, we're going to start putting topics before the show, and you can start chime in. Hitting the like button, we appreciate the likes, we appreciate the shares, but comments are what we want to hear the most. And now there is a Bill Thornton. I'd like to give him a shout-out and thank him. He said, pretty much a lot along the same lines. Cena wins by submission, new WWE World Champion. Undertaker wins by tombstone. Cesaro by pinfall. Reigns and Ambrose with a Superman punch. Team PCB by submission. Ryback with the meat hook on The Miz. The primetime players win by pinfall. Neville and Amell, of course, wins the Red Arrow on Stardust. Randy Orton by RKO. And Ziggler by a zigzag on Rusev. Again, once again, thank you very much, Bill, for putting in your thoughts. We're going to wrap things up, but we will also always want to know your thoughts. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Please follow us over at facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio and take just a few seconds and help support us by subscribing to us over at youtube.com/HWR Show. We have the classic wrestling manager, Joseph Knight, on hand. Joe, always a pleasure. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? What do you got coming up?
Fans can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com// Joseph Knight Manager, or they can follow the CWA at Classic Wrestling, Facebook.com, Classic Wrestling Association. They can follow us on the website at ClassicWrestlingAssociation.com. They can follow me on Twitter at JKnightCWA. On Saturday, August 29th, in Boonton, New Jersey, the Boonton Elks Lodge, we'll be presenting Summer Bash 2. So if anybody wants to check it out, just come on down. We got some good matches that are going to be on hand.
And of course, we have my sidekick. He's my partner. He is the son of a bitch, Andy, from Stoke Haunted. Andy, why don't you tell everybody all about Stoke Haunted?
Yeah, you can catch us at www.stokehaunted.com, and this coming Saturday we're doing an investigation at what we believe is probably the oldest standing private house in the United Kingdom. It goes back to 1377, so we're quite looking forward to being the first team in this venue. So I've done loads of research on the internet, and I can't find any buildings of any description, whether they're castles or nothing, that are still fully functional from 1377. So I think this is going to be one to look out for on the Stoke Haunted page in the next coming week or so.
And last but not least, we have the incomparable Lance Moss, and you can find him over at youtube.com/Lance Moss TV. Lance, tell everyone all about Lance Moss TV.
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, Redneck Woman cooking videos. Every Wednesday I go live. Tomorrow is going to be at 6 p.m. Central Time for however the hell long it lasts, because I don't know, it could be 4 hours. It was last week. And hit me on Twitter, it's at Lance Moss TV. I do have one announcement. As we were recording this show, I hit 150 subscribers.
Congratulations.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. And so for everyone here, I am your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying, we'll see you when we see you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of In the Moment. Make sure you follow us at any one of our locations, whether it's YouTube, Dailymotion, and now SoundCloud.com under the name HWR Show. Until the next time, this is your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.